¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo están? Hey guys, welcome to my streaming. Hola Chris Jesus, ¿cómo estás? Hey guys, welcome. Give me a second, give me a couple of minutes while I finish sharing the streaming. As I said earlier, I'm gonna continue working on my Skeletor redesign, so give me a second while I load the file. Entonces, hoy voy a estar continuando con el Skeletor que habíamos iniciado la semana antepasada. Listo. Hemos hecho esto y su capucha. Esta no. Esta. So just give me a couple of seconds and we'll be ready to go. Mm, just checking that everything is working with the chat and the restreaming settings. We change the material, something a little bit more interesting. Guess I'm going with the brownish. Yep, this one. Y la idea es que hoy vamos a continuar. Tenemos más o menos la base de lo que es el rostro. Solo voy a empezar a meterle detalles a la unión entre los músculos y el cráneo. Ahorita que lo estaba viendo sin la capucha, no me encantó tanto lo redondo que está. Entonces también vamos a modificar eso de una sola vez. And let me change the muscles that I have here so they actually merge with the skull. And I'm going to start sculpting, so I need my references. Give me a second. So as I said, in a lot of streamings, I tend to use a lot of Sketchfab for my references. Para mis referencias utilizo muchísimo Sketchfab porque básicamente con Sketchfab podemos rotar el modelo, en especial para la parte de los músculos, se vuelve muy útil. Just give me a second, guys. There we go. Y ya lo único que tengo que hacer es checar una cosilla más. What's my own YouTube channel name? I'm in YouTube as. I still need to change the name, but to be honest, I haven't done that. But that's the idea, to change the name of the YouTube channel. That's where I tend to do the streamings, either there on my or in my personal Twitch channel. El canal de YouTube es ese, el mío. Tengo ahí un par de tutoriales, en especial de retopología, pero no he podido cambiarle el nombre. Creo que lo he abandonado bastante, entonces la idea es poder retomarlo y cambiarle el nombre, porque ese nombre es súper, súper viejo. And what's I gonna do? Give me a second. Okay, we are ready. So I have my references in my second screen. A lot of anatomy, skulls, muscles. So let's start working on our Skeletor. La idea es que en mi segundo monitor tengo referencias de diferentes cosillas de anatomía, músculos. La idea es tener suficientes referencias para no fallar en nada. And change that song. Voy a quitar esta sección porque ahorita esto es como un placeholder. No era lo que tenía en mente para el chest. Y lo mismo para esto. I was just checking that everything's working well, and we can start. So, as always, I'm going to use a sphere to start blocking the shapes. So this is going to be the forget the name, the thorax, the rib cage. That's what I was looking for. Y como siempre usando esferas, vamos a ir sacando las proporciones. Ahorita esto va a ser como la caja torácica, donde van a estar las costillas y todo eso, que va a ser importante porque quiero que tenga como las costillas salidas. Now this is just blocking the main proportions. By no means this is like the final design. Y algo así. Voy a separar esto en diferentes polygroups. Because we already have like the polygroup of the neck, so you don't need to have everything merged together. Especially these ones that are super low poly. ¿Qué onda, Gol? ¿Cómo estás? Ah, qué chido que si alcanzaste a llegar. Justo voy iniciando. Y solo para ir agarrando las proporciones. Oh, sounds great. Thank you, Chris. So now that I have the blocking of the thorax, I'm gonna have another sphere just for the belly. And let me check my references. So I was thinking maybe instead of just doing like a bust, I'm gonna do the full character. However, I'm not gonna detail every single part of the character. I might only add details to like this part of the character, like the top. So I don't think I'll be able to finish the entire piece in one streaming. Auto group. Le doy mirror and weld y ya con eso puedo empezar a modificar esto. that I always say this, but having on my second screen something like Sketchfab or a lot of references in PureRef, it's super, super useful, especially for the anatomy. And I was, as I was saying in my previous streaming, I think Skeletor is like the perfect exercise of anatomy and um, character design because I mean, he's pretty much a skull with a lot of muscles. So it's the perfect excuse just to practice your anatomy. But at the same time, you can make him a little bit more interesting by adding, your own style to the character. Vamos a bajar esto de más. Y no tiene nada de cuello, entonces vamos a darle un poquito más de cuello. Así. Y en esta sección vamos a seguir agregando esferas. This is gonna be the pelvis, pretty much the hips. Maybe for this part I'll actually give him like the toys, like those trousers made of fur. They look pretty funny. Y la idea es que con esto poco a poco vayamos creando el personaje. A ver, algo así. Esto lo podría bajar un poco más. Y esto lo voy metiendo. Hey, José Velázquez, ¿qué onda? Saludos hasta allá, Venezuela. ¿De qué parte de Venezuela eres? Ah, sí, todo cool, gracias, bro. Todo cool. ¿Andas armando tu propia escultura ahorita, Gol? Mientras ves el streaming o en qué andas trabajando? Ahorita esto se ve demasiado rough, pero la idea es que solo queremos tener los bloques para ir teniendo la forma principal. No es obviamente que se vaya a ver así de cuadrado nuestro pecho. Yo esta parte la quiero sacar más porque quiero que se vea como las costillas del personaje. Like this. Y lo padre de trabajar con un personaje que igual y abandonamos por varios días es que tienes como ojos frescos para verlo. Por ejemplo, la parte del cráneo que yo la veía bien, ahorita que abrí el archivo lo veía como muy redondo el cráneo. Entonces fue lo primero que modifiqué y son el tipo de detalles que necesitas ver con ojos más frescos, porque si no, lo ves como ya muy perfecto porque has estado trabajando con él varias horas o por al menos un buen rato. So, for this, I'm gonna be changing maybe the shape, but we need some shoulders, so oops, never mind. There we go. Now, ¿qué onda, Orlando? ¿Cómo andas? Bien, ¿y tú? Qué gusto verte por acá, bro. Igual y creo que esto los voy a dividir en varios. Algo así, y lo duplico. Y lo padre de esto que podemos duplicar el mesh muy rápido y ya tenemos nuestros pectorales que se van uniendo a los hombros. So I'm just using pretty much the move brush and that's it. At least at the beginning when I'm just sculpting the main shapes and trying to decide the design of the character or creature, because I'm not following any concept, pretty much just improvising the shapes. So ponerle un auto group in mirror world y ponerle un músculo más aquí abajo. Pueden ver que trabajo con las esferas más low poly que encuentro en el AMM. Trato de mantenerlo lo más low poly posible, en especial al inicio porque no le estoy buscando meter detalles, solo trato de tener las proporciones bien hechas. En medio de un rodaje... ¿Andas con lo de Virtual Production? ¿O en qué andas, Orlando? Hey, Vanity. Yeah, I mean, it's both in English and in Spanish. I try to switch uh, during the streaming in both English and Spanish, so feel free to ask whatever you want in English. Pretty much, I just try to go with the flow of the chat. In most of the chat tends to be like in Spanish, then I'll try to be more in the Spanish side. But if most of the questions tend to be like in English, I tend to be more in the English side. However, I try to switch from time to time, try to explain everything. If not everything in both languages, most of the things, or at least the important ones. Y con esto creo que ya tengo la base. No es perfecto, pero podemos ver que ya subdividido, pues empieza a agarrar forma. Me gustaría meterle más detalles en la parte de atrás de los músculos. Ah, de Maracaibo. Qué bueno, qué gusto. ¿Qué hora es por allá en Maracaibo? Maracaibo, Venezuela. ¿Es para un videojuego? De momento solo es concept art. Realmente es una escultura demasiado high poly. Pero no estaría mal hacerlo para videojuegos, hacerlo para real time. Igual y al momento de hacer la retopología, pues lo mantengo low poly para meterlo en Unreal o hacer algo diferente con él. Sí me gustaría terminarlo. Obviamente en el streaming no sé hasta dónde alcance a llegar, pero mínimo me gustaría tener el cuerpo terminado, o sea, proporciones, que se ve un poquito ya más como Skeletor. Y quizás detalles en la armadura, en la parte de arriba, todo lo que es el cráneo así, detallarlo ya, empezar a meter detalles y ver hasta dónde alcanzo a llegar hoy. So again, I'm just using spheres to create like, the muscles. I'm not trying to do every single muscle. Just trying to get the feeling of the muscle system. So for example, for the chest, I'm not trying to do every single strand. I'm just trying to get the feeling, and then once I merge everything in Dynamesh, I'll be able to sculpt. But right now with these low poly spheres, it's easy for me to move them and to change the shape of them. I don't need that much resolution to make that, so I'm trying to keep it as low poly as possible. Y el anhelos de blanco, de blanco, sí. Skeletor. Sí, la idea es que me gustaría hacerlo no como el clásico, o sea, sí que tenga el mismo feeling, pero me gustaría que sea un poquito diferente. Quiero modificar un poco la armadura, hacerlo un poquito más creepy, que se vea más como de combate, porque siento que el esqueleto real, bueno, no el real, bueno, el de la serie y el de la caricatura está muy al descubierto. Y si va a pelear, pues no queremos que esté completamente al descubierto. Hey, Mustafa. Awesome skeletor modeling. Thank you, really scary. Ah, thanks. That's what I'm aiming for. A creepy, or maybe not creepy, but more evil looking skeletor. Instead of him looking kinda goofy, I'm trying to make him look a little bit more menacing. So that's what we're trying to accomplish tonight. Y si se perdieron el streaming pasado, hace 2 semanas, pues justamente iniciamos este proyecto de Skeletor. Empezamos con la cabeza y cuello, y le agregamos la capucha, y hasta ahí fue donde llegó el streaming de aquel día. Entonces hoy me gustaría llegar, aunque sea a tener proporciones del cuerpo, y empezar a meter detalles cráneo, igual y hasta aquí, hasta el pecho. So that's pretty easy. You can get like the bicep done just with a simple sphere. You don't need to be that accurate with its shapes. Aquí son las 11:30, pero tengo que trabajar mañana. Tengo trabajo en una productora audiovisual. Estoy introduciendo al mundo de los VFX. Ah, pues qué bueno. Espero que te vaya muy bien el trabajo y que esta introducción del mundo de las VFX te esté gustando y te quedes. Es una industria muy, muy chida, muy buena. Perdí mi referencia. Aquí está. Ajá. Y ahora vamos a meterle otro músculo aquí. Para los tríceps. Now the shoulders, they're looking. Again, he's not gonna be like super realistic. I mean, it's not like he's gonna have like the very realistic shape because he's meant to be like a fantastic character. But I'll try to keep it as realistic as possible without affecting the design of the character. It's too much. Y lo padre es que siempre puedes poner tu thumbnail para ver cómo se ve. En general está agarrando forma. Igual y esto lo voy a sacar un poco más. And I haven't saved the file, so let me save this. Skeletor. Sale Orlando, que descanses. Ah, pues vale. Mucha suerte en el rodaje. Saludos. Hey, Jazz Dobby Love. How are you doing? Welcome. Vanity. How do you update the UVs of the model with multiple subdivision levels? I mean, if your model already has topology and let's say you modify the UVs from that model without changing anything from the topology, you can go to the C plugin option and then UV master, copy the UVs from, let's say, the right UVs, and then go to your model with the wrong UVs and select paste UVs. That way you will be able to transfer the UVs from the new model to the old one. But they need to have the same topology. That's the only way it will actually work. ¿Usas Maya? Sí. ¿Qué onda? Pacto, pacto con demonio. A Brasil. Saludos allá a Brasil. Mm, sí, uso Maya principalmente para pues, la parte de topología, UVs, render. Antes usaba más 3ds Max, pero por la industria eventualmente tuve que cambiar a Maya. Ya no uso 3ds Max como antes, pero todavía lo tengo instalado y todavía lo he llegado a usar en uno que otro proyecto. I think I'm gonna make this one smaller. Now let's add the elbows. For the elbows, again, I'm gonna use a sphere. Hey, you're welcome, Vanity. Hopefully that will work. Just like this, and then let's continue working on the groin area. Now the buttocks. And let me change the shape of this. Es básicamente lo mismo, utilizando la geometría que ya tenemos. Vamos metiendo poco a poco detalles. Esto no sé qué sea. Aquí va. Ser un poquito más cuadrado. Siento que está muy grande para la cabeza que tiene, entonces I think this one looks a little bit more natural. I'll have to check my proportions once I have everything together. Luis Arellano, saludos allá a Canadá. ¿En qué parte de Canadá estás? Muchas gracias por lo de la cabeza. Ah, fue lo que hicimos en el streaming pasado. Ah, ¿cómo exportas de ZBrush a Maya? Le das export y te va a exportar como una OBJ y ese OBJ lo puedes importar a Maya. Saludos desde la Ciudad de México. Lo malo de Maya es que crashea cada vez más. Sí, Miguel, tienes toda la razón. A mí me crashea muchísimo cuando estoy trabajando en los UVs. No sé por qué. No sé si sea algo del Maya 2019 en el que trabajo. Pero siempre, siempre, siempre que estoy trabajando con unos UVs ya un poquito más complejos, con varias islas y así, tengo que estar grabando constantemente porque es casi un hecho que va a haber algún crasheo con Maya. Now, let's continue working on the legs. Ah, Toronto, qué chido. Qué gusto andas trabajando por allá. ¿Eres de acá de México o de dónde eres? ¿Y te fuiste a trabajar a Canadá o eres de allá de Canadá? Voy a meter un poco las curvas de aquí. See, pretty much it's just playing with the shapes. I know that it's not like super interesting to see like just spheres attached together on a sculpture. We have to be patient. I prefer to work this way just to have everything lay out. The muscle systems because this is gonna make everything super easy to sculpt. So this is one of the muscles of the leg. Move it like this. Y ahora vamos a duplicar. Y vamos a ponerlo así. Tiene que ser un poquito más largo este músculo. From Ecuador, living Canada for 30 years. Oh, ya. Ya estás más allá que... Ya llevas bastante tiempo ya en Toronto, entonces, en Canadá al menos. Qué genial. Voy a poner un músculo de una vez. No me gusta meterle tanto detalle en cuanto a músculos muy específicos porque de momento no funciona tanto la escultura así. Prefiero tener las proporciones bien hechas. Pero este músculo me va a ayudar a... Va a ser como una guía. Como un landmark. Y en base a este puedo seguir agregando más músculos y definiendo las formas principales. Something like this. I mean, this muscle is barely visible, but for me it's super useful because it's like a landmark. That way I can see if it's working, if I should change the shape or maybe the height of certain muscles. For example, this one, I'm gonna make it like this. Now I've been thinking, so for the armor, I might go with the traditional Skeletor design. However, I will change certain things, like adding some more of like an organic armor made of bones. I think it's fitting to the character, and that way he's not that naked. Sí. Y aquí podría meter una vez el otro músculo aquí, pero no sé qué tanto nos afecte. Vamos a ver. Nos da bastante volumen, entonces igual y sí es buena idea. Let me save this. Lo vas a mandar a Maya. Ah, también Maya User. Sí, la verdad es que um, no estaba en contra de Maya, pero pues inicié trabajando en 3ds Max. De hecho tenía mi certificación de Autodesk en 3ds Max y todo, pero honestamente las herramientas de retopología de Maya son muchísimo mejores que las de 3ds Max. Y eso fue lo que me convenció. Además que casi todo el mundo utiliza Maya en la industria, tanto de videojuegos como de animación, entonces, ¿para qué ir en contra? No sé si lo alcance a meter a Maya en este streaming, porque creo que en este streaming llegaría solo a meter detalles en el cráneo o incluso nada más a diseñar la nueva armadura. Pero la idea es que sí, le hago una retopología después. Quizás si me aviente 3 streamings con este personaje, no estaría mal para terminarlo bien. Porque con 2 está muy limitado lo que podré llegar a hacer con él. Let me see the back. All of these. Could create another sphere there to create like another muscle, but I think this is easier. Just to expand the muscles I already have. Ahora, hay muchísimos músculos que van en la parte interior del muslo, pero realmente no estamos haciendo un modelo súper detallado en cuanto a anatomía, no tiene chiste que le pongamos eso ahorita. Y pues es una parte interior del muslo, eso casi no se va a ver del personaje. Más aparte, encima de eso lleva todo el sistema de músculo, de grasa. Realmente no afecta tanto al modelo, si lo incluyo o no. Pero no está de más saber que existe. Hey Luis, muchas gracias. Thank you. I really appreciate it. ¿Te graduaste de alguna universidad? Sí, me gradué de la Universidad del Valle de México. Estudié animación digital. Pero la mayoría de esto es aprendido por cuenta propia. Tutoriales, básicamente el internet fue lo que me enseñó en cuanto a... digamos que la universidad me enseñó como las bases. Me enseñó como de todo un poco. Animación, rig, modelado, render. Pero era como una embarrada. Realmente no era nada detallado. Creo que funciona como para tener una base y saber qué es lo que más te gusta o qué es lo que te apasiona. Y ya de ahí, pues por tu parte, aprenderle. Pero no es como un requisito que necesites en la industria. Conozco muchísimos artistas muy muy buenos que han aprendido por su cuenta sin necesidad de ir a un colegio o algo así, algo similar. Now, make this a little bit more. Select this and there we go. Now I need to make the kneecaps and the forearms. En este caso trabajas con simetría para después posar. En pose T o en malla. Será como para live action o videojuego. Sí, usualmente, ya sea para impresión 3D, o sea, para un coleccionable o para producción como videojuegos o animación, lo primero que voy a hacer es hacer todo el modelo en simetría. Lo que haría después sería no meterle detalle, no llegar al punto en el que empiece a meterle poros y arrugas, dejarlo en un, digamos que término medio en cuanto a nivel de detalle, regresarlo a Maya, hacer la retopología, volverlo a regresar a ZBrush, proyectar todos los detalles y ya con la topología correcta, una topología que me permita subdividir el modelo, empezar a agregar más polígonos, es cuando le empiezo a meter los detalles como poros y arrugas. Porque con Dynamesh siento que tienes un cierto límite antes de que se vuelva muy pesado el modelo. Pero pues obviamente tener una topología correcta pues te permite subdividir el modelo mejor y eso te permite meterle mayor nivel de detalle. Sí, I need to fix the arms. So this out of group mirror weld. This one goes on the top. Vamos a ajustarlo. Let's see the elbows. Again, for this part, there are a lot of muscles going on the forearm, but I'm not gonna be doing every single one. I just want to get like the main shape done. Y en este caso, pues obviamente Si uno ve un ecorché o un modelo de un sistema de músculos, vamos a ver que tenemos muchísimos aquí en el antebrazo. Pero como mencionaba hace rato, no tiene chiste que pongas cada uno, a menos que se haga un ejercicio de anatomía, entonces sí sería necesario, pero de lo contrario podemos abstraerlo y juntar un par de músculos que igual y no están juntos, pero con el chiste de que pues eso nos va a ayudar a hacerlo mucho más rápido y que sigue conservando su forma realista. Let me save this, because sometimes accidents happen. Ah, ¿ya tienes una idea de la armadura? Sería chévere que le pongas como una tipo campeón de Grayskull. Sí, justamente quiero ser. No tengo una idea definida, tengo como algunas inspiraciones y una idea aproximada. De hecho, me gustaría muchísimo que la armadura tenga como muchos huesos integrados. Siento que está medio desaprovechado que el personaje se llame Skeletor y no tenga casi nada de huesos en su armadura. Entonces, la idea es hacer algo así. Thanks, Luis. Yeah, I was just saying that to be honest, I feel that Skeletor has so much potential to have a very unique and cool armor, but it's a little wasted with him being almost naked. So I'm I have an idea for the armor. Um, yeah, it's just a very let's say that um, I have a very basic idea of what I want, nothing very specific. I know the look I'm aiming for. However, I'm gonna pretty much improvise. I do have some references that I liked from the internet for different characters and different animals. So hopefully I'll make something interesting with Skeletor, and he will look apart from other Skeletors that you can find on the internet. That's pretty much what I'm aiming for, to have something unique. Sí, te entiendo, soy diseñador gráfico y ahí me enseñaron Blender, pero no me gusta el surface de Blender, de redondear los objetos. Sí, la verdad es que, perdón, tengo muchas ganas de meterme más a Blender. Sé lo básico, sé más renderear en Blender que modelar, porque siento que igual y pues para la industria casi no te piden Blender, pero para proyectos personales sí me gusta que mis renders salgan en Blender. Son muy pocos los que tengo ahí, pero me gustaría ir cambiando poco a poco eso. Pero sí, para modelado, pues 100% Maya o 3ds Max. Principalmente porque suena cliché, pero pues la verdad, industry standards. Entonces, al menos por ahorita todavía Blender no es considerado, bueno, no es como que vayas a cualquier estudio y puedes usar Blender como si nada. Casi siempre tiene su pipeline muy definido con ya sea 3ds Max o Maya, casi siempre Maya. Pero pues esperemos que eventualmente eso cambie porque es muy muy buen software y es gratis, eso es lo mejor de todo. No de estar pagando suscripciones, nada similar. So we have our forearms and just trying to get the shapes. See how this silhouette looks. I think it looks okay. I guess this part is way too thin. So let's fix that. Voy a ocultar temporalmente los brazos. ¿Qué es lo padre de tener polygroups? Podemos aislarlos. Es raro ver de un artista sculptor. Así que es raro ver a un artista esculpir. ¿A eso te refieres, Luis? Pero bueno, me alegra que te esté gustando ver algo diferente. ¿Qué onda, Miguel? Am, algo como Dead, The Darksiders. Sí. Igual y algo con más armadura que Dead, porque también está como muy ligero. Me gustaría algo que se viera como más de combate. Como decía este Cole, algo más como Champion of Grayskull. Yo hice los 4 jinetes de Darksiders. No he jugado, tenía el juego, pero nunca lo... Vaya, me lo dieron cuando estaba como en... Creo que un tiempo estuve en Xbox Live gratis, lo descargué ahí y nunca lo jugué. Pero se ve interesante, no estoy familiarizado con los jinetes, tendré que checarlos. Suena como una muy buena inspiración. Lo único bueno es que no pesa nada y te corre. Sí, exacto, es muy ligero. Nos vemos en el siguiente directo. Sale José, nos estamos viendo en el siguiente. Seguro con práctica igual los modelos te van a quedar así o mejores. Solo cuestión de practicar. Mm, usando spheres. Sí, siento que es una forma muy natural de trabajar porque cuando uno esculpe, por ejemplo, de niño, pues ¿qué es lo que hace? Agarras esferas de plastilina y las vas pegando y vas formando como la escultura. Entonces es una forma muy natural de esculpir. Yo lo hago de un sphere. Es bastante complicado a veces hacerlo de un sphere. La verdad es que es padre, pero sí requiere como dominar muchísimas cosas. Aventarte algo así desde, desde un sphere. She's gonna be the bone of the elbow. Let's start adding the legs. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Tal vez Kenem S. Yeah, like a Cosmic Ghost Rider. Could be. I mean, he has the same shape, so I can actually easily change from Skeletor to Ghost Rider anytime. Let's see for the legs. Tengo todavía que ajustar las proporciones. Pero... vamos a ver. Trying to eyeball the proportions with my reference. And it's not an exact way of doing it, but as I said, one of the cool things of working like this is I have everything in different polygroups. So if I want to, let's say, make the arms bigger, I can just isolate the arms and then scale them. Oops, scale them. And then we have like a buffer skeletor. But that's the idea, to be able to modify everything pretty quickly. Hey Miguel, claro, sí, tú mándame mensaje. Nos vemos en el siguiente stream. Felices trazos, igual. Trying to see my reference and vamos a hacer todavía el frente. Y esta parte la vamos a sacar un poquito. There we go. Now for the muscles in the back. Now instead of using spheres, now I'm using the capsules because they are more similar to the muscle. So it's easier. Faster, actually. Y en lugar de usar ahorita unas esferas, lo que estoy usando son las cápsulas que igual ya vienen en el AMM. Algo así. Y ya con esto tengo las proporciones hechas. Maybe a little bit. I need to add later the fat and everything that merges all the muscles and the bones together, so it doesn't look like out of place. And I'm gonna be doing the same for this part of the calf. Okay, might have exaggerated the shape too much, so let me move this a bit. Like this. Oops. I'll save this because it was doing something really weird. Mirror weld. Voy a tener uno cuidado con eso porque no sé qué estaba haciendo. Give it a try again. There we go. Y creo que hay que aumentarle más el volumen, entonces hacemos esto. And this one will go around here. Now, for the legs, not the legs, for the feet and hands, I'm gonna be doing a different subtool. So I can actually merge this and don't have any issues that, like for example, the fingers start to get to merge together using Dynamesh, stuff like that. So Same. Y me falta ponerle un poco más de músculos, igual uno de una vez aquí. There we go. Actually push these ones a little further away. And this is supposed to be like the bone, so actually leave it like this. Start working on the proportions. So as I said earlier, I don't need to sculpt every single muscle, just enough that I get the proportions, and then I'll start sculpting the rest of it. Pues con esto no busco meterle todos los detalles con los músculos. Por ejemplo, aquí debería de ir otro músculo grande en el muslo, pero lo que busco más es tener las proporciones y ya después de aquí ir esculpiendo. So I think I'm going to leave him around here. Y al final le voy a poner una esferita, que eso me va a servir en esta parte como la muñeca. And on the bottom it's gonna be like something around here. Y sí. There's a lot of fixing the shapes and modifying the proportions. Creo que con esto puedo empezar ya a esculpir. Hey, Thiago, thank you very much. Hey, pacto con demonio. Boa noite. Obrigado. So, I think I'm going to save these and then I'm gonna merge everything. Because as I said earlier, the hands and feet, I don't want the fingers to merge. You know, when you use the animation, sometimes the resolution is not high enough. They start to merge together the fingers. I don't want that. because I don't want to add a lot of resolution right now. So I'm actually gonna subdivide this. I have that smooth shape y la idea es que lo subdivida y le voy a dar Remesh by Dynamesh. Eso me va a unir todas las partes y me va a permitir empezar a esculpir en esto. Antes de eso voy a modificar este músculo. Just fixing some of the shapes. Now I can go with Remesh, Remesh by Dynamesh, set projection 0, pongo el cuadrito rojo que es de proyección y le doy Remesh. Now this it's not high enough, maybe a little bit more resolution. No quiero tener muchísimos polígonos, pero tampoco quiero tener muy pocos que no pueden empezar a meterle formas. Por ejemplo, esto siento que está perfecto. No son muy grandes los polígonos, pero me permiten empezar a detallar. Let's keep this one. And I'm gonna start smoothing and using clay build-up to start sculpting the character. Now this is the fun part where I start maybe breaking the anatomy a little bit more, just playing with shapes and exaggerating some stuff. Again, he's not like a very, or at least I'm not trying to do a super realistic character, more of like a fantastic looking villain. So this is the part where I start sculpting. Y como ya pueden ver, tenemos las bases hechas que nos permiten empezar a meter detalles en cierto nivel. Y eso nos va a permitir tener un personaje un poquito más interesante desde un inicio. Can you please explain me about the Dynamesh with the gizmo? Sure. So for example, you can use this in any mesh. You press W or E or R, so you get the gizmo. You get the usual Dynamesh here in geometry. Dynamesh, you change the resolution by moving this number, but I find that very annoying because you need to move the number, hit Dynamesh, see if it works, then if it's not working, go back, Control C, change the number again, Dynamesh. So it's a mess. So I really like to go into the gear, remesh by Dynamesh, and you have to put subprojection to 0. You find it here, so I don't get any triangles. The blue cone means the smoothness. I don't want any smoothness. I want to keep the main shapes and the details as much as possible. The red cone means project, so I want the, the the cone to be on. 0 is off, 1 is on. So big cone means there is gonna be projection. And the white cone, the bigger it is, the more polygons I have. But this is like a preview, so it's quite easy just to, for example, do something like this. I want to activate the wireframe and just start seeing how much resolution I actually want. So for example, like this, let's say I'm happy with this. I go out with the gear again and then hit accept, and that's it. That's a pretty easy way to get like your own, to get control over Dynamesh without going over and over the numbers and seeing which number actually worked for you and what model. This is actually easier. So hopefully that was useful, Thiago. Okay, so go back to Skeletor. Entonces con esto puedo empezar a usar Dynamesh, digo Trim Dynamic, Clay Buildup, para empezar a bloquear un poco lo que son las formas, lo que quiero que se vean las costillas. Estos son los músculos, entonces tienen que ir un poco conectados en las costillas también. Así. You can choose the amount of the resolution just by pushing that slider. Yep, pretty much that's the deal with that rematch by Dynamesh in the gizmo. So as you can imagine, you can have more control over your model and its resolution instead of just playing with not sure why it didn't give me the polygroups, but never mind. Usually I keep the polygroups. I'm not sure why it's not respecting my polygroups. But anyway. I think 100 is way too much, so I'm gonna lower the intensity. You're welcome. De nada, Thiago. Y voy a empezar a utilizar Dem Standard para aquí ir definiendo ya más el personaje. Aquí es donde voy a empezar a romper un poquito igual y la anatomía, exagerar ciertas cosillas. Oops, I have a big gap right in the armpits. So I want to fix that. And well, this part is actually gonna be covered by armor, so I'm not really that worried about this section. But it's nice just to sculpt certain details. Usualmente me guarda mis polygroups. No sé qué es lo que habrá pasado aquí. Le hago una prueba antes. See your mesh potato mesh. Yeah, it's keeping my polygroups. I have no idea why it didn't respect my polygroups. This I'm gonna duplicate this just to see if I can actually cover my polygroups because I find them actually quite useful. Voy a ver si regresando puedo recuperar esos polygroups. Porque no sé por qué no me los respetó. To group, mirror world. Mesh by Dynamesh. Why is it not respecting my polygroups? I select polygroups, delete. I mean, it's respecting the polygroups here, but it's gonna be all broken. Yep. Maybe it's because of the subdivision, could be. No sé por qué no me respeta mis polygroups. Pero bueno, ni modo. Quería ver si podía igual y rescatar los polygroups, seguir trabajando en ellos, pero no se pudo. Y vamos a subir el smoothness. Y ya con esto puedo empezar a marcar más lo que quiero hacer con el personaje. This and maybe make more subtle this part. Now let me see what I can do with the armor. Ahora no tiene chiste que me ponga a esculpir cada parte del cuerpo hasta que decida qué es lo que va a estar descubierto y qué es lo que no va a estar descubierto. Entonces, igual y conviene hacer eso ahorita. So for the armor, I was thinking doing maybe some shoulder plates. Those are important. Something like a worket. Voy a utilizar esta geometría que ya tenía hecha, entonces va a ser como un base mesh para empezar a improvisar formas. Por ejemplo, esta sección. Algo así. Obviamente no voy a conservar estas formas, solo es para ver cómo poco el diseño. So I'm not gonna keep these ones. I just want to see how it looks, something I have in mind. Where I'm gonna have armor, where I'm not gonna have armor. So let's see the groups. Let's duplicate this one again. So we might have some chest armor here. So there's no point on sculpting the chest. It's gonna be covered by armor. That's why I'm actually trying to see what is gonna be protected and what's gonna be exposed. I change the color of this just to get a different vibe of it. Estaría bien hacerle algo así. Sí, y que aquí salgan cosas así. Maybe something that covers the neck, but just the part on the back. Creo que ayudaría si le pongo su capucha, entonces... ¿Usas tablet o mouse? Uso tablet. A veces uso el mouse, no me doy cuenta cuando cambio el mouse, pero para la parte de escultura, la parte como más artística, siempre uso tablet. Creo que no me podría acostumbrar a trabajar 100% con mouse. Vamos a ver, igual y tomo este. Now again, this is not gonna be the final design, anything close to it, but it's just like a map for me to see where I need to actually design a little bit more, or maybe where I need to focus my attention more. For example, I was starting to add some details to the chest. However, I think that the chest should be covered in armor, so might not be such a good idea to have a lot of detail on the chest. Had an idea, so let me see if I can actually pull that off. Just trying to make a skull. I mean, it's horrible, but I just want to try something with its shapes. So forgive how ugly this sculpture is. It's just pretty much a concept. See how it looks. I was thinking in adding this. I mean, that looks interesting, but no. As shoulder plates. Mm, creo que le hace falta bastante espalda. Está... Hey, Vest, how are you doing? I spent almost 8 months only to learn character modeling, but I'm still not able to make it a good character. Well, it's just time best. I mean, to be honest, in 8 months I wasn't able to do anything decent enough. So I'm pretty sure you are doing really well. It's just patience and keep practicing. Maybe something like this. Maybe this can work. Quizás algo así. I mean, I might need to fix that skull, but I think it works. I don't know, guys. What do you think? With or without the skulls? Um. Hey, Ryan. Thank you very much. I have a question. When you block out the character from scratch, how long do you typically spend on the anatomy? As well as, do you like making each limb of a character separate? I tried to make it like tonight. What I was doing earlier is just pretty much blocking these shapes using just spheres, everything together except for the hands and feet because of the fingers. They tend to merge with Dynamesh. So because I'm still trying to figure out the shapes of the character, I don't want to get a lot of trouble with the fingers. So right now I'm just blocking the rest of the body. But yeah, I tend to do everything together except for those parts. And about how much time I spent, I've been depends completely on the character and how much time I want to spend on it. For example, right now I've been doing the blockout for like around an hour and a half, give or take, around an hour, más o menos, give or take. So an hour for blocking could be good. Maybe I could do a little more blocking and detailing on a little bit more the muscles, but I think that for now, while I try to decide the shapes of the character and all that, it's enough. También me gusta, entonces no sé qué. Mm, Ooh, I have an idea. Mm, so I was saying earlier that I really want to integrate a lot of bones on the design of the armor. So I can actually, I'm thinking that maybe I can make all these chest plates out of like a very organic look, like if it's made of like bones. I think that's gonna be more fitting to the character. Still not certain about the shoulder plates between these ones or these ones. ¿Qué más puedo ponerle? So maybe should block out also the legs. So this is like doing some concept art. I don't want to do anything like super detailed or anything like that. And I'm not working on the back, but uh, en cuanto tenga el frente, creo que la parte de atrás saldrá automáticamente. Uh, Hey Enzo, how are you doing? I'm working on my Skeletor. How did I create the hood? Um, I don't remember. I did. I think I took a sphere, modified the sphere, and then did a quick retopology. Then used the dynamics. I think that's what I did actually. Yeah. Um, I didn't start this character today. I did it like in a previous streaming 2 weeks ago. So if you want to see how I actually worked on the hood, um, the streaming is it's saved on the Pixologic channel, so you can find it there. So I might need some time to work on the design of this. I'm still not really happy. So I guess I'll concentrate on the body and the face that I wanted to define a little bit more. Is your first job as a character artist or something else? You mean if I work as a character artist? Y voy a empezar a meterle detalle a esto. Actually, you know what? Actually, yeah, I think this is gonna help me see the character a little bit more merged together. Esto lo voy a empujar un poco hacia adelante. La escápula, la clavícula. Algo así. Now, these are two different subtools. I have this subtool and this subtool. The idea is to merge them together. Example this. Voy a estar haciendo otro Premesh by Dynamesh después para unir justamente lo que es el cuello con el resto del cuerpo. Hey, Borahil, how are you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the streaming. Vamos a aislar esto. Hey, Croxigar, how are you? Think I'm going to continue working on this. Which was my first job in the industry. I was working in a video game studio, in an indie video game studio, like 10 years ago. That was my first job as a 3D artist, and well, more of a 3D generalist. So I was doing from concept art, modeling, texturing, rigging, animation, rendering, the entire process. That was my first job in the industry. Mm, tengo que arreglar las piernas. Mm, vamos a intentar empezar a meter detalles en esto. A lo mejor será meter una esfera aquí. Sí. Can anyone give me an opinion, please? Am I expecting too much from the end of the workflow character models? Uh, oh, you mean like transferring all the details from a high poly model to a low poly model and doesn't look quite good as the high poly model? That tends to happen a lot. There's baking. Tends to be like super tricky. Um, I would recommend trying into different forums to get like a lot of the tricks to get a more decent baking because everything comes to the baking part. If the bakes are not perfect without any artifacts and you don't have all the maps required, yeah, there's gonna be a big difference between the high poly and the low poly, which is not what you want. You want to have the low poly as close as possible to the low poly model. No, never mind. The low poly as close as possible to the high poly, but it's completely dependent on how the how the how the forgot my train of thought. How the baking goes. So I would recommend going into a lot of like forums like Polycount, something like that, that it's really oriented to low poly models, because there are a lot of tips and tricks to get a more decent um, baking. Yeah, you're welcome, Grog Cigar. a Buko art station or L'art station? What do you mean? Yeah, it's bump map, but also depends on what maps are you allowed to export. Because if you're only relying on the bump, yeah, it's gonna be quite hard to have like a model that looks as close as possible to the high poly. But you require stuff like displacement or maybe normal map with roughness and having really good textures. So it's tricky, but as I said, it depends completely on the baking part. I need resolution. You realize that I have everything in a single subtool. I don't want that. Es esto. Mesh Bettina Mesh. Mucho. Algo así está bien. Creo que este material tiene... Esta sección tiene un... Sí, tiene MRGB. Yeah, you're welcome, Croxigar. Do you have an art station? Yeah, you can find my art station up here. There should be a banner moving, but you can find me an art station as... Give me a second. As Heretic slash Templar. Yeah, there's a lot of like very specific words and methods, so I understand. Sometimes it's very intimidating to have all those words and starting from scratch. I'm sorry, I can see. This is gonna be barely visible because we are gonna have the hood and it's the back of the character, but I still wanted to integrate like the skin crawling on top of the bone. Oh, you're welcome, Bukots. I'm probably saying all those names super wrong, but sorry guys. Um, is learning all the process like rigging, animation is good. I would recommend to learn everything. I mean, I don't expect you to be an expert on every single part of the workflow, like rigging and animation, modeling, but at least you should understand everything because this is a teamwork. And if you understand, for example, rigging, you will know what type of models you require to give to a rigger so they can have an easier job. That way, you're not going to give them a lot of trouble by giving them a horrible model. And the same stuff goes to the guy from texturing or the guy from animation. So I would recommend study everything and master just whatever you want. But if you actually understand all the stages of um, creating a character or a production, either for video games or animation or for 3D printing, whatever, you're gonna make the job easier for everyone. And it's gonna be easier for the entire project. Um, School though, lockdown got me into this. I haven't stopped since like being young again. One of those good things about the lockdown. How long for projection? How low for projection do you go for fingers, etc.? Um, for finger stuff like that, I tend to go like for example in Dynamesh, I tend to have a lot of resolution because fingers tend to stick together if you have a very low resolution mesh. And what I do is actually I merge them using Dynamesh and then I do the rate topology. Once you have the rate topology, then you won't have any issues because you have to merge together, so it's gonna make everything easier. And you're gonna have a very specific topology for each finger. Hacerle un extract. Punto C01. Ah, sale gol. Descansa, bro. Muchas gracias. Qué bueno que aprendiste que te sirvió algo el streaming. Que descanses. Uh, do you read topo here or in Maya? Usually in Maya, it's faster. Unless it's something very very simple, then I do the read topo here. Like for example, the hood. My previous streaming, I did the hood as a simple sphere that I stretched, and then I did a very quick read topology here in ZBrush because it's a very simple mesh. Yeah, no problem. Cigar. Um, yeah, it's not really that distracting. I don't mind. So, mm, I was thinking about like the character, and I really like this mixture between flesh and bone. So I guess I'm gonna be doing the same for the armor. So I guess I'll just add a couple of things here that look armorish, and then I'll finish the streaming. object. También el fondo se vea como que hay carne adentro. Y no lo he grabado, entonces grave error, pero listo. Trying to think. On the design of the armor, I think the first thing that I need is to create some vertebrae. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. Hey, Ugalde. Hello. Hey, Croxigar. Sure. See you next week. I always do streamings on Thursdays. One streaming here in the Pixologic channel, and the other one on my personal Twitch/YouTube channel. So see you next week. Have a good night. Let me fix this. I think I'm going to make the background a little lighter, so he actually pops a little bit more. Yeah. See how it looks with the hood. I already have a mess with the different polygroups and all that. What's the name of a plugin where you can put several reference images? Um, it's not a plugin. Well, the one I use, it's software called Pure Ref. So something like this. Pure Ref. My channel, it's up here on the banner. You can find me on YouTube as, I think this is the name. This should be the name. I haven't changed it, so that should be the name of the channel. And the software, it's called PureRef, so you get like all the images floating on top of all the software you have. Let me see some vertebrae. See. So split hidden. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna change these for. Oh, I want to keep it. Never mind. So I'm going to make something inspired by vertebrae, which is gonna be like the base of his armor. like this. Maybe a little bit more smaller. Going to remesh by dynamesh. La idea es que sean como... que por aquí está bien con esta geometría. Lo voy a aceptar. Pequeñas vértebras que vayan uniendo su armadura. Voy a darle un mirror a world para que sean simétricas. Ahí está. La idea es que no sean como perfectas, solo que me dé el look que estoy buscando de vértebra. Sí. Algo así. Again, this is just kind of concepty because I'm not really going into that much detail. I'm just trying to see if this is actually gonna work. And let's... Yep, it works. I just need to change something because this is getting something like this. La idea es que su armadura esté hecha de diferentes partes como de hueso, justo para que se vea más como Skeletor. Sure, you're welcome, Mugalde. ¿Cuál es la mejor para retopología 3ds Max o Maya? Yo siento que Maya tiene mejores herramientas, pero depende mucho de cómo te acomodes. Antes hacía la retopología en 3ds Max, pero justamente migré a Maya porque siento que las herramientas para retopología son mucho más rápidas ahí. Se sienten mucho más amigables. Hacerlo un poquito más pequeño y vamos a duplicar uno más de estos. Ups. Y aquí lo que voy a hacer es... Me alcanza para uno más aquí abajo. No tiene simetría. Y vamos a poner... que serían como las costillas. No van a ser costillas como tal, sino una representación. Después de todo esto es como una armadura, entonces tiene sentido que su armadura esté inspirada en huesos. Ok, hasta aquí. It's too much. I'll go one by one. Hey, Aditya. Aditya Verma. Thank you. What time is it there in India? Estos dos están muy cerca. Vamos a moverlos un poco hacia abajo. Oh, it's 10:45 a.m. So good morning over there. It's not that early. It's just early enough to have your breakfast. Vamos a ver. Los voy a ir acortando un poco. Y yo creo que uno más todavía. Auto group, mirror weld. Oh, that door sounds super annoying. Let me change that. Because that super annoying. Mm. I just want to give them a more rough, organic look, so I'm just using clay buildup, moving them. Just like this. Y creo que estos voy a duplicar. There we go. Oops, never mind. Estoy improvisando mucho esto, entonces igual y lo modifico después. Split hidden. Uh, I'm sad I spent a lot of money not to sell Superman, but some people have whole sites with replica art. You mean like for 3D printing that you bought any like replica art? I'm not sure I entirely follow. Still trying to figure out what to do with the armor. Oh yeah, especially for 3D printing, there's a lot of people doing that. Which sucks, but it's really sad that a lot of people are just stealing other people's models and work. Transform. Yeah, it's really, really sad and infuriating people doing that. very happy with the design right now. But it is what we have right now. So see what I can do. So I have the hood. I think I need another one of these vertebrae. Right on top. What else can I do before I leave the streaming for tonight? Guess I'll improvise and change some of these shapes that I already have. Just trying to play with the shapes, and since I'm not gonna be finishing the character on this streaming, I might as well just have some fun with the shapes. Imagine this is just some concept art, so I don't require to do everything with topology and UVs and all that. Actually helps me design a little bit more the character. I draw a lot from Google, but I only do it for practice. I end up drawing how I see it in the end. Yeah, I mean, as practice, that's a really good thing to do. Helps a lot. Embrace the darkness of this unholy occasion. It's Friday 13. Oh, I didn't realize. Thanks, Rupesh. Yeah, it's true. Friday, Friday 13. Fitting to the streaming. think I'm just going to add a couple of bones sticking out, so maybe just duplicate one of these. And I don't need that much resolution. The beginning of that song always reminds me of Mr. Crowley. Mr. Crowley. Mm-hmm. Delete hidden mirror in mirror world. Hey, Falls. How are you? Yeah, I think this is more fitting to Skeletor than the thing that I had in mind earlier with the skulls. Maybe just something around here protecting this area. About to draw some Canson. Um, sure, I'm following. What's Canson? I think I'll just finish this part and I'll call the streaming done for tonight. Y creo que vamos a ponerle un autogroup. Sí, delete hidden. No sé si hay un AMM de huesos, tendré que checar. Si no lo hay, tendré que hacer uno. Definitivamente va a ser útil. Oh, sketch paper. Oh, nice. I haven't done any traditional drawings in a long, long time. Pretty cool. Mirror and weld. See if I can actually duplicate this and make something else for this section. Just a small experiment. We'll call it done. Yeah, I think this works perfectly. Hey, the Blue Dream. How are you doing? Glad to hear that. So I'm just gonna change this. Maybe the direction of these ones. So they don't point upwards, all of them. Like this. Hey, Sync. How are you? Watching from India. What part of India are you from? He needs hands, that's for sure. Something to cover around here, but let's see. Shushu? Oh, I'm from France. Oh, nice. Nice meeting you. Blue Dream. What part of France are you from? Jaipur. Oh, nice. It's also around, what, like 11 a.m. right now? 11:30? Do you give any personal training in ZBrush? Hey, thank you, Falls. Have a good night. Take care. No, I don't give any training in ZBrush. I did a workshop like at the beginning of 2020 because of the quarantine, and I had a lot of free time, but I don't think I'll make another workshop in a long time. But I tend to do some tutorials that you can find on my YouTube channel, and I do streamings every Thursday, 1 week here in the Pixologic channel, and the other week on my personal Twitch channel. You can find my info up here. And I think I'm going to call it done for tonight. Yeah, I think so far it's looking decent. I might have to do another. I will do another streaming of this character. Um, hide those stumps because he has no hands right now. Real, it's not far from Paris. I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce that city. My French, it's been, it's horrible. Since high school, I haven't learned any French, so sorry about my pronunciation. I'm at more of a 2D graphic. Oh, nice. Are you interested in switching into 3D or just being curious? Yeah, you're welcome, Sing. If you missed the first section, this streaming is gonna be saved in the Pixologic's YouTube channel, so you can find the streaming there. Not only of like the beginning of this streaming, but also my previous streaming where I sculpted the head and the neck, because this is gonna be a series of streamings. So on my previous streamings, I did the skull, and the neck. On this streaming, I did the body and the armor. On my next streaming, I'll start detailing and adding the hands and feet because he currently don't have anything. I'll finish the body because right now he looks like a stump. And yeah, so take care, everyone. Again, I do streamings here in the Pixologic channel 1 week and the next week on my personal channel. So if you want to see me finish my Skeletor, I'll see you in 2 weeks. So I'll see you next 27th of August. I'll be working again on Skeletor. Next week I'll work on my personal Twitch channel where you can find my social media up here, including my Twitch channel. And yeah, that's about it. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Have a good night and have a good day in case you're in India, for example. And see you next week. Also, if you want to send me a message or anything like that, you can find me up here in my Instagram or station or Facebook. Feel free to contact me. Um, yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next week. Nos vemos. Ya saben que usualmente dejo un streaming en este canal y el otro el streaming en mi canal de Twitch personal. Entonces, este lo voy a estar terminando, este Skeletor, en 2 semanas, que sería el 27, jueves 27. Estaré ya trabajando más a detalle. Ya para entonces tendré una mejor idea de qué es lo que estoy haciendo, porque hoy tuve que improvisar un poco las formas. Pero eso es básicamente todo. Que tengan buena noche y nos vemos la próxima semana.